going to go ahead and get started. It is 10:01. My name is McLean Borsick, and actually, that's my maiden name. My name is McLean Gutkin now. I am the local wellness policy program coordinator at the MUSC Boeing Center for Children's Wellness, and I'm joined by my co-host Erica Ayers, who is the school wellness consultant with the Division of Nutrition, Physical Activity, and Obesity Prevention at DHEC. The mission of the school network is to identify and promote healthy eating and active living strategies in South Carolina public schools that empower key stakeholders such as yourselves and encourage collaboration among those seeking to improve student health and academic achievement.
Thank you, McLean, and good morning, everyone. So again, my name is Erica Ayers, and in addition to working at DHEC, I also serve as the Executive Director for the South Carolina Governor's Council on Physical Fitness. The mission of the council is to serve the state by promoting the health and well-being of all South Carolinians through physical activity. And the council is currently focused on supporting the health of students, which is why they now work with the schools network. And an example of that partnership between the schools network and the Governor's Council is this webinar series. So the purpose in the webinars is to enhance collaboration between schools and communities using the whole school, whole community, whole child model as a framework to support student health. And today we're going to be looking at the power of family engagement. We know that school efforts to promote health among students is more successful when parents and families are involved. So how do we help support? Well, we work together. And that's why we look at the whole school, whole community, whole child model as a framework for this. It calls for greater collaboration between schools and communities in multiple sectors, and it puts the child in the center and takes a comprehensive approach to make sure that students are healthy and ready to learn. And while the Schools Network and the Governor's Council are focused on healthy eating and active living, we understand how these behaviors impact and align with other components of health. And today we're specifically, again, going to look at family engagement, and we have an awesome panel of folks who are going to tell us more about this at the national, state, and local level. But before McLean introduces them, we want to open up our first poll to get a better idea of who is participating today. So that way our panelists know who they're talking to. So if you wouldn't mind taking a couple of seconds and responding to that. And McLean, I will pass this on to you to share those responses and introduce our panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. And so it looks like we have quite a bit of school staff, such as teachers and school district folks on the call today. We have 21% community coalition or community-based organization, and then we have some state agencies. So overall, pretty good diversity here. So I would like to introduce you to our three wonderful panelists today, Mr. Seth Shelby, who is the program manager at Alliance for Healthier Generation. We have Dr. Lorelei Swanson, the Upstate Regional Family Engagement Liaison at Carolina Family Engagement Center. And finally, Kimberly Ray, who is the Parent Liaison Coordinator at the Orangeburg County School District. And before Seth jumps into his presentation, we wanted to ask, so you'll see the poll on your screen, does your school or district actively work to involve parents and families on school district and wellness initiatives? And so your options for the school folks are yes, no, or I don't know. And if you could fill that out, that would be great. All right, so we have about 58% that say yes, you do, and then 33 that say they don't know, and then just a little bit at 8% that said no. So that's overall, I'd say pretty positive. So Seth, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, McLean. That is very positive. That's good to hear. So my name is Seth Shelby again. I'm a Healthy Schools and Communities Program Manager at Alliance for Healthier Generation. I have the distinct privilege of serving South Carolina districts and schools that are part of the Diabetes-Free SC School Wellness Initiative, which is funded through the Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina Foundation. And I see some of our folks are actually on this call, so hello to you all. In that work, we are ultimately striving to ensure that children in South Carolina experience healthier school environments. And as most of us know, and hopefully we'll be exploring more today, one of the crucial components to accomplishing that is by assisting schools and districts to incorporate and strengthen community and family involvement in the school wellness journey. Go to the next slide. So our shared values. At Healthier Generation, we believe that every mind, every body, and every young person should be healthy and ready to succeed. But today in the United States, not all kids have the same opportunity for a healthy future. Since our inception, equity has been a central tenet of our work, with the recognition that poverty and educational disenfranchisement are key drivers of health and health equity. In addition, we understand that racial discrimination continues to be an explicit factor in the systemic distribution of resources that support whole child health. And we know that a child's physical, social, and emotional health is critical to their learning and development. And that's why we're committed to ensuring that every mind, every body, every young person is healthy and ready to succeed. Next slide, please. Okay, so we define health equity in whole child health as youth having the supports in place to thrive regardless of where they live or where they learn or where they play. So our work in schools aligns with the Center for Disease Control, Prevention, and Association of Supervision and Curriculum Development's whole school, whole community, whole child model. I know you just saw this before, but it's a major part of what we do. So this means that in addition to us focusing on physical activity and healthy eating, we also address multiple critical child and adolescent health issues, such as social emotional health and sleep. And whether it's through partnerships, targeted hands-on community support, or digital tools and resources, we aim to bolster the health outcomes of youth and their families. One of the most useful digital tools to help schools and districts in this journey is the Thriving Schools Integrated Assessment. It's oftentimes referred to as the TSIA, but the Thriving Schools Integrated Assessment, it really helps schools and districts quickly and easily identify strengths and opportunities for improving policies and practices. So I want to give you an example of some of these, which we have various topic areas, but one of our topic areas is increasing family and community engagement, which is very pertinent to this conversation today. We have 27 total questions within that topic area that focus on facilitating collaborations between students and staff. And we want to really make sure that we're meeting student, family, and caregiver needs and supporting student learning and development through that collaboration. So for example, one of the questions within the Thriving Schools Integrated Assessment is, to what extent does your school collaborate with families and caregivers to identify needs related to social drivers of health? Another question asks, to what extent does your school have a process in place to collaborate with community organizations to support family and community engagement? So you can kind of see in those two questions, as schools answer these, districts are better informed where gaps exist, and they can really create plans of action to address those needs holistically. Next slide, please. So it's now we get sort of into the how. So I love referring to the 6-step process as a roadmap. It's part of the journey. It's really taking you from step A through Z of the whole school wellness journey. And so the 6-step process is an ongoing journey that schools and districts take part. It's part of building the culture of wellness within their communities. And this process requires program members to continuously evaluate and improve upon their school's health and wellness initiatives and learn from successes and challenges to create sustainable change. When repeated each year, the 6-step process really helps solidify healthy policies and practices, and it strengthens a culture of health within the school community. So as you can see, the first step is building support. And this is really where you build support by convening your school wellness committees to plan and lead implementation of the program that they want to do with their school. And then you really assess the school or district. So you're assessing by completing those online assessments to identify areas for improvement. 3 is you're developing that action plan, right? data is only as good as we use it for action. So we have to develop an action plan based on what is important and achievable in those communities. And then we explore resources and identify what's going to make it easier to implement your action plan. And that's really where the strength of community and family engagement really takes on. We're adding capacity to this journey that schools or districts going at it alone would otherwise not have. And then taking action, we implement that action plan for a healthier school environment. And then the last is we're celebrating that success. That's a very important part, as we acknowledge small victories and big successes along the way. And this really, it's an organizing celebratory event. So we really want local community partners to be involved in celebrating that, so it can further help with engagement. In a school wellness committee, if we look on the right, you're seeing essentially what an ideal school wellness committee would look like. And a school wellness committee is an action-oriented advisory group that focuses on the health and well-being of students, staff, and families in a school community. With that being said, you can see there where family and community members have a place on their wellness teams. And I was so happy to see the results of the poll at the very beginning saying that there is a lot of involvement going on, but we still have a lot of work to do. And we want to make sure that there aren't schools where the parents don't have a participatory place within that school wellness journey. So much like we saw on the WISC model slide, you know, the community and family engagement in the wellness journey, it really is imperative to the success and sustainability of the wellness changes made. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a really excellent resource. In 2020, Healthier Generation conducted some surveys, and it was regarding the healthy habits at home. And 81% of the respondents, they noted a desire for more resources to improve their child's social, emotional, and mental well-being. And a top priority for families was creating a home environment that supports physical activity, healthy eating, and just general overall safety. In response to that feedback, Healthier Generation and Kohl's partnered and released a collection of resources. Kohl's Feeling Healthy at Home was released to support the unique challenges faced by students and families. And Kohl's Feeling Healthy at Home is part of the Kohl's Healthy at Home Family Wellness Initiative that really encourages families to prioritize a healthy lifestyle in their homes and wherever their children live, learn, and play. As part of this initiative, families have access to the Healthy at Home Back to School Toolkit that provides pretty much a lot of integrated resources for family well-being, from meal ideas to self-care tips. And these materials are available at no cost throughout the year and are frequently updated to support family social emotional needs. And you can learn more about this by accessing Kohl's Feeling Healthy at Home on the Healthier Generation page or healthiergeneration.org/feeling healthy at home. Next slide. So I really wanted to include some data that was South Carolina based as well, not just survey results from a Healthier Generation nationwide poll, but this is from a 2018 parent involvement report that was provided to the General Assembly, the State Board of Education, and the Education Oversight Committee. And I'm really just trying to lift these data points up for a few reasons. Yes, it's more about school improvement councils, but school improvement councils and wellness is not a dichotomy. A lot of those things can coexist together and share a lot of the same goals and family engagement strategies that we are going to mention throughout this presentation today. And I first want to acknowledge that parent involvement is an area of growth, and there's a lot to be celebrated, but there is still a lot to work towards. And noting that there is a gap on these data points shown between the desire to participate versus actual participation. And I also want to lift up and acknowledge who isn't represented on this report and how we can collectively fill those gaps as well. For example, a school could begin its school wellness journey. It could start to include members from within the school and from the school community, yet potentially it could still have underrepresentation from parents who are either unable to attend due to barriers, right? So we're talking about transportation barriers, language barriers, or other unforeseen barriers. And so when thinking of the school wellness journey and this commitment to improve conditions, it's always important to focus on the process and not the overall product, because this is a continuous improvement journey, and it's with concepts of growth and equity woven in. And it's where each school really strives towards greater levels of inclusion and representation. So as I try to tell my schools and districts all the time, try to look at who's not at the table and how can we create pathways to make sure that they are there, especially our community and family folks. Next slide, please. And this is one of my favorite things to lift up. So this is part of our step 6 of the celebrating success. We have for years have a really amazing recognition program here. And so at Healthier Generation, we have it's called the America's Healthiest Schools program. And it's a prestigious annual recognition program that celebrates schools for implementing best practices to support the physical, mental, and social emotional health needs of the learning community. And like I mentioned earlier, community and family engagement have a piece in this recognition as well. So schools function best when, our students and educators and family members are happy and healthy. And earning an America's Healthiest Schools recognition, it really indicates that a school is a leader in that school health area. So awardees, they must meet criteria using that Thriving Schools Integrated Assessment, and they end up applying for recognition in the spring. And this is an important time right now where we're working to really guide our South Carolina schools towards that pathway by going through our eligibility checklist and things of that nature. But any K through 12 public or private school in South Carolina is eligible to apply for recognition as one of America's Healthiest Schools, and that includes elementary, middle, and high school. And any school, regardless of earlier awards that they achieve, they can apply for recognition in 2023. Like I said, that'll be released in the spring. And this award presents a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the mission of incorporating meaningful family and community engagement to the school wellness journey. And it also presents an opportunity for both school staff and community members to really celebrate their collaborative efforts. So I leave you with that and really want to pass it along and leave you in that collaborative mindset of how can we engage our schools to really in earnest start to participate and start to include our community and family members in the school wellness journey. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Seth. We really appreciate your perspective from Alliance for Healthier Generation. Next on the panel is Dr. Lorelei Swanson. And again, she's the Upstate Regional Family Engagement Liaison at Carolina Family Engagement Center. And before I kick it over to you, Dr. Swanson, we have the third poll that should pop up on your screen. What term do parents prefer when referring to the development of social and emotional skills in school? And you have some choices: social emotional learning, social emotional and academic development, life skills, or character development. And again, if you all have any questions throughout these panels, please put them in the Q&A box and we will get to them at the end. So it looks like 39% of you said social emotional learning, 33% said life skills, and then we had 17% at character development and 11% social emotional and academic development. Thank you guys so much for your participation. I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Swanson.
Thanks so much, McLean. I love your answers to the poll, and according to the Fordham Institute, in a recent research study they did with parents last summer, parents said that they preferred life skills. So when you are thinking about reaching families, you're going to win more parents over if you use the term life skills instead of social emotional learning. a lot of our community organizations and schools continue to use social emotional learning now. I'm going to describe a project that we engaged in this summer, the Carolina Family Engagement Center. It is in partnership with the South Carolina Department of Ed, and it is the SEL and Family Engagement Project. And we did use the term SEL, but we did have a long debate about considering another name for it. But in the end, we settled on SEL. Next slide, please. So again, I'm the Upstate Regional Family Engagement Liaison for the Carolina Family Engagement Center. And today I'm going to be sharing a statewide social emotional learning and family engagement project that we initiated over the summer in partnership with the South Carolina Department of Ed. I'll start with a quick overview of the Carolina Family Engagement Center. We are one of 12 federally funded statewide family engagement centers across the nation. We are funded by the U.S. Department of Education under the Every Student Succeeds Act. We focus on help supporting all families in South Carolina, but our grant requires us to focus our efforts on families who have historically experienced disparities in education. We are housed in the University of South Carolina College of Education and the South Carolina School Improvement Council office. Again, our lead partner is the South Carolina Department of Education. We provide professional development and technical assistance to district schools, teachers, and families to support family-school partnerships. And we build capacity for family community school partnerships. Next slide, please. There are 4 other regional family liaisons working to support these efforts across South Carolina. Loran Galita Patel in the Midlands, Clarissa Hinton Thompson in the Low Country, Renina Outing in the PD region, and Julia Beatty in Upper Central. Next slide. For the project I'll be sharing today, we worked closely with the Office of Federal and State Accountability, the Office of Early Learning and Literacy, and Student Learning and Development at the South Carolina Department of Ed. And Julia Beatty and myself were the leads on this project. Next slide. South Carolina Department of Ed provided the funding for our project under Title IV, Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment. Our project aligned with improving school conditions for student learning and supporting safe and healthy students. Next slide. Our project also aligned with a collaborative on academic, social, and emotional learning framework, and it also aligned with the CASEL State Action Framework. So why the social emotional learning and family engagement project? How did it come about, and why do we think it's important? Well, Julia Beatty and myself are licensed clinical professionals, and we have years of experience of supporting social emotional learning and mental health for students long before the pandemic. But as we all know, the pandemic kind of heightened the mental health and social emotional learning concerns for our students, and it also increased awareness among educators about how important it is to address social emotional learning and mental health to support ultimately academic achievement. A lot of resources were developed for educators to support SEL for students at school. Julia and I noticed that resources for parents to support SEL at home were lacking. And we see parents as their child's first teacher, and see it as really important that they take the lead in social emotional learning. So we had this idea to develop some family-friendly materials that would really help parents have the same knowledge and resources that educators did to support social emotional learning, and to help them share a language together, have the same language about social emotional learning. And this would ultimately seamlessly support student SEL as students transition from home to school and from school to home. Next slide, please. So this is an overview of our project. We develop family-friendly materials to give parents information and ideas about activities they could do at home to support their students' social emotional learning. We developed 3 kits, 3 social emotional learning and family engagement kits: SEL and literacy, awareness of family and community, and awareness of self. And very importantly, in these kits, we made sure they had everything families needed to do the activities in the guide at home. And then last part of our project was we developed 5 social emotional learning curriculum lessons for parents and caregivers of elementary school age children, focused on CASEL's self-awareness component. Next slide. So our first kit was social emotional learning and literacy. This kit included our family welcome guide, a social emotional learning book that was approved by the South Carolina Department of Ed, a journal, a literacy tip bookmark, and positive affirmation stickers. We distributed 8,251 kits across South Carolina. They were available in both English and Spanish. And key partners helping us get these kits into the hands of families across South Carolina were the Office of Early Learning and Literacy at the South Carolina Department of Ed, and also our CFEC partner schools, teachers, and community partners. Next slide. So here's just a list of the very specific community partners and schools that accepted our SEL and literacy family engagement kits. Next slide. In addition to thanking our regional liaisons at CFEC who helped us connect with our partners, connect with schools across the state, and pack and distribute the kits, the learning engagement coaches at the Office of Early Learning and Literacy, they cover 5 regions of the state as well, and they were really key in helping us get these families to these kits to families of students enrolled in pre-K and 3rd grade summer reading programs. Next slide. And here's just some pictures shared with us through the Office of Early Learning and Literacy of families who received our kits, were reading their SEL books with their families, and you can just see that just engaging in the act of reading with children supports emotional development. Next slide. So our second kit was awareness of family and community. These kits included a family welcome guide and lots of fun things. They were super popular: a beach ball, scissors, bubbles, crayons, markers, journal, colored pencils, sidewalk chalk, and pipe cleaners. And we distributed 8,919 kits available both in English and Spanish across South Carolina through our CFEC partner schools, teachers, and community partners. And we also distributed these kits at our community family resource centers, which is another partnership we have with South Carolina Department of Ed. Next slide. This slide just shows you the specific partners in schools where we shared these kits. Next slide. And our third and final kit that we developed was the Awareness of Self Family Engagement Kit. This kit included a family welcome guide, a feelings chart, a zones of regulation chart, a quiet fidget bracelet, a noisy fidget toy, and a deck of Uno cards. We distributed 1,600 of these kits to our CFEC partner schools, teachers, and community partners. These kits were only available in English as we had a really short time frame to get all of this done. Next slide. Here are the specific recipients of our Awareness of Self kits. Next slide. So in addition to the 3 SEL and family engagement kits, the final part of our project is we created 5 SEL lessons on self-awareness using the CASEL components for self-awareness, which are identifying feelings, recognizing strengths, accurate self-perceptions, building self-efficacy, and building self-confidence. And these lessons were geared for parents and caregivers of elementary school age children. The picture on the left of the slide shows you all the components of each lesson. So we defined what each component was. We provided goals and objectives for the lessons. We provided lots of instructional materials plus daily life examples, at-home activities. We provided resources for parents, asked them reflection questions on their experience of going through the lesson. And we also had an assessment at the end for measuring learning outcomes. Next slide. So of the 5 lessons that we created for this project, we piloted one lesson, identifying feelings, with 15 parents across South Carolina from diverse backgrounds, with children, both male and female, ages 4 through 12, with a wide range of SEL strengths and challenges. We talked to parents one-on-one on the phone before they reviewed our lesson, just to let them know the idea behind our project and what our expectations were for them. We made ourselves available to parents if they had any questions or ran into any challenges while they were reviewing the lesson with their children. And then after the lesson, we scheduled one-to-one interviews, and we asked our parents what was the most and least helpful and why. And we also asked about their parent-child interaction, and we asked for their suggestions for improving the lesson. Next slide. So some themes that emerged from our interviews with parents. One was parent interaction. Parents enjoyed spending time with their children and exploring feelings. Parents and children reported they looked forward to their time together to learn about feelings and engage in the activities together. And parents learned to regulate their own emotions as they were learning skills to help their children regulate their own emotions. Another theme that emerged was parent awareness. They gained awareness of their own feelings, how their child may sometimes process emotions differently than they do. They learn different ways to talk and to support their child, and they increase their awareness of the bigger picture, the thoughts, feelings, and events often behind emotions and behavior. Next slide. Another theme was the family-friendly feel of the curriculum. Parents love the bold colors and appealing design. They thought it was really easy to use and follow, great for busy parents. They love the self-paced nature of the curriculum and their ability to kind of pick and choose activities as they desired. And also they reported that it was a good balance of instruction to activities. And finally, our parents had several great suggestions for us, which we will incorporate if we create more lessons moving forward, including a timeline, table of contents, a pre-assessment, dividing the curriculum into early and upper elementary, and making our colors more gender neutral. Next slide. So here's just a few of our quotes from our parent interviews. I'll read 2 of them. Reading and thinking through these really grew my ability to empathize with my daughter. I found myself sharing things that I'd recently experienced to help her relate and understand to her own feelings. This drew us closer together. And I realized that I like to talk about my feelings right away, and I learned to respect the way my daughter needs to work through her own emotions. Next slide. And finally, I want to share a video of 2 siblings using the materials in the SEL and literacy kit. They are reading a bilingual book that they received in the kit by Todd Parr, titled "It's Okay to Be Different."
You read it English. It's okay to talk. Wear glasses. It's okay to wear glasses. Está bien usar lentes. No, my turn. It's okay to talk about your feelings. Está bien para hablar de tus feelings. Netus. It's a hard word.
Sound it out. In Spanish, it's sentimiento. Yeah, good job. See, you're readers. Bilingual readers.
No, your turn, Maite.
Next slide, please.
Oh.
And so that's a quick overview of our social emotional learning and family engagement project. Special thanks to the Carolina Family Engagement Center and the South Carolina Department of Ed. Here's the contact information for Julia Beatty and ourselves. We'd love to hear any comments you have, questions you have. If you're interested in seeing some of the digital resources that we developed. Also, we are hoping that the materials we developed will be posted on the South Carolina Department of Ed Social Emotional Learning website, and I will drop that in the chat as I turn the presentation over to Kimberly Ray. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorelei. You guys have created so many wonderful resources, and those SEL kits look like just really fantastic activities for kiddos and their families to do. So last but finally not least is Kimberly Ray, our parent liaison coordinator at the Orangeburg County School District. Before I turn it over to you, Kimberly, there's one final poll for you all. What are the benefits of family engagement? And you can check any of those. Do you think it reduces absenteeism, better behavior, improved communication, and increased confidence? So please check as many of those as you would like. All right, the poll is in, and it looks like you all think that family engagement improves communication. Most of you think it increases confidence, and then it's tied with reduced absenteeism and better behavior. Thank you all so much for your feedback. And Kimberly, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, McLean. Well, greetings, everyone. Again, my name is Kimberly Ray, and I serve as the Parent Engagement Liaison Coordinator for Orangeburg County School District. Next slide, please. And so parent and family engagement pretty much it's a job that I totally love. It requires you to communicate, you build bridges, you build relationships, you become like a resource to your parents. And it's what I have here is it's the participation of parents in a regular two-way and meaningful communication involving the students' academic, learning, and other school activities. So it's a shared responsibility. It's not only you, it's the school, it's the parents, it's the families, it's community agencies and organizations. So that's your churches, your hospitals, anyone that wants to participate in the well-being of the children and the family. Next slide, please. So why is parent involvement important? And we know, like, during football games, basketball games, soccer games, the parents are out there rooting for their kids. But where are they when it comes to their academic learning? Where are they when it comes to coming in the schools and being present, a positive presence? Because we know a lot of times that our parents will come when little Johnny has been written up, or he got in a fight, or he's in trouble. Or unfortunately, we see a lot of parent involvement when the child is about to fail. But it's important because when the parent is actively involved in the child's life at school, their grades improve. If my child knows that I have a relationship with her teacher, she's going to do her work. She's not going to misbehave in class because, I know that my mom is going to talk to Miss Lawrence. And so they talk. So I'm going to be careful of what I do. And then it also boosts the teacher morale because, hey, I have a relationship with this parent. I know I can talk to them. I know that we can work together and solve any issue when it comes to this child. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. Next slide. So what are some ways parents can get involved? And there are so many ways that parents get involved. I'm learning more and more as I grow in this position as well. But school surveys are great, and evaluation forms. Sometimes they can be a little ouchy. Sometimes the parents are really quick with them. But if you have a prize for the people who turn in their surveys or stuff like that, they will do the survey. Put it where they could just scan a QR code. A lot of times they can do it on their phone. You have to make sure that you have the surveys and evaluation form in different forms for different types of people. Some people like the pen and paper, some people like the QR code. So those give you feedback on the things you're doing and how they would like to be involved, okay? Newsletters, social media, parents are on Facebook. Parents are on Instagram and Twitter. So social media is always a good thing. Posting things on school websites and newsletters, especially if you have a parent of the week or a student of the week that's posted on there, they're gonna check in for that. And they're gonna share that as well. So all of those avenues are really, really good. Include parent involvement in the child's homework. So give parents homework assignments too. Our parent liaisons, we have monthly workshops. And so a good thing to always do with the workshops is give parents homework. We have a workshop tonight at 6 o'clock, and I definitely have some homework assignments for the parents. So they're going to take the kits home that Dr. Swanson gave us, and they're going to work on them and send pictures. So that's a great way to get them involved and share what they do at home. Offering parenting classes with videos and handouts, make it interactive. I know I don't like to just sit down and hear someone lecture. So make it interactive, make it fun, make it something that the parent would like to participate in. Offer things like cooking classes, coupon classes, CPR, all those great things that the parents would like to take. That would also help them with their children as well. Fire safety, you can bring out the fire department, and they love to have simulations, and they'll bring it right to the school. Creating a parent resource center. Guys, this is really great. I always tell my parent liaisons, make your office a classroom. Matter of fact, my office is a classroom. So have it filled with resources, books, brochures, anything that the parent can see that they can take away with them. Also, if your budget allows you to, you can have an extra computer, and that way you can help your child with PowerSchool and then help your parents with certain things like that. Providing training for your parent volunteers. Parents love going on field trips. So if you can have a quick training for them, not just signing the parents up, fill out this form, get a background check, and then boom, you're a volunteer. But give them some initiative, give them some training, create your own little curriculum, Parent Volunteer 101, and just say, hey, you have to go through this. That way they get to build relationships with people in the school, and they're feeling like they're a part of this, like they're involved, that this is not just a place where my child goes to school, but this is my school, this is the community school. So when you make people feel like they have ownership in the schools, then they're more likely to be more involved. Okay. And then last but not least, include children's work during parenting events. And when you have your agenda, make sure that's the last on there so they don't just come at the beginning and then just leave. We talk with our parent liaisons, and they have such great ideas. I love hearing about all the wonderful things that they're doing throughout the schools. And one of them mentioned that, and I just thought that was a fantastic idea. So I know from now on, a lot of them are going to start including, student demonstrations, and that's gonna boost our parent involvement. And of course, it's not on here, but food You know, a lot of times when we have things in the evening or in the morning, they want to eat. So, you know, having muffins with moms, donuts with dads, grits with grandparents, parents and pizza, whatever you can do. Okay, I have that on there. So there's a lot of great things you can do. Next slide. So some of the benefits are reduced absenteeism. So of course, if I don't see my student in school that day, I can reach out to the parent liaison and talk to them about, hey, little Johnny hasn't been coming to school. And the parent liaison can talk to the parent and say, hey, you know, what's going on? And through our liaisons, you know, the liaisons build a personal relationship with the parent, and sometimes doing home visits as well. And they can really find out what's going on, because of course our teachers have so many roles that they're playing inside that classroom. Classrooms are already crowded. So the use of our parent liaisons in the school has been really beneficial when it comes to helping reduce absenteeism. Promotes better behavior when parents are involved. An involved parent definitely helps with behavior, because if I can call a parent, and when I was teaching, I would memorize phone numbers and I would call the parents. And so I'd say, hey, when you get a lunch break, can you just come? And so they would sit in the classroom and they'd wait on their child to walk in and, why did you call my mom? So it always helps. And of course, you know, that child was on their game that day. Encouraging open communication. You can find out a lot more when you talk to the parents. You can find out some things that's going on that may affect the child's behavior in class. And so that's increased confidence overall. The teacher's more confident, and the student is more confident as well, because they're getting that help. They feel understood, they feel supported. And overall, that's what it's about, empowering that child, empowering that family. Okay, next slide. So this is a brief video that pretty much gives you an overall picture of everything I was just saying. Family involvement is just such a wonderful thing. I truly do love my job. And this is just a little snippet of what it looks like. So if you could play that for me, please.
As we work to help every child succeed and to close gaps in student achievement, we often assume school is the main place that learning is going to happen. Take Esma. It used to seem to her family and her educators that Esma is always at school. Not true, it turns out. Esma and other students actually spend 82% of their waking hours at home or in their community. All those weekends, weeknights, and breaks add up. When they realized that, the educators in Esma's school district decided to work harder on making the most of the biggest partner in her learning life, her family. This can look different in every school, but for Esma's teacher, it means instead of spending his time arranging a traditional open house, he organizes grade-level parent meetings. Here, Esma's family saw data on how the class is doing in math, reading, social and emotional learning. They practiced new ways to help Esma at home and set goals for how they'll help her improve. Everyone learned from each other as the group talked about how to help the students. Also, near the start of the school year, some staff from Esma's school visited her home. They looked for the assets her family members can bring to the educational process. They learned about their languages, their culture, their lives, their world. Grandpa offered to be a resource for other English learner families, and the school also listened and learned from the family's perspective on Esma's needs. They learned how Mom helps her calm down and focus. This kind of family engagement also makes it easier for the district to develop individualized education programs for students, including those in special education. The foundation is already there for families to engage in their students' academic and career planning too, making that more effective. Throughout the year, the family can attend workshops at the school on things like mental health, homework, or career exploration. Esma's mom saw those meetings on a poster in her work break room, and now she's inviting other parent friends to go with her. Esma's school district works with local businesses, places of worship, the public library, and other partners to reach students and families where they're already spending time. The school provides information frequently in a variety of ways so they can reach every family. Text messages are offered in the most common languages of local families. Esma's family gets photos from her teacher so they know what she's doing during the day. Communication between the school and the family is a group effort, focused on helping Esma achieve her learning goals. When Esma wasn't sure what to do on a science assignment, her family knew to contact the teacher for a little clarification. Educators take a positive approach as they look for solutions to any challenges experienced on either side. They're always looking for the family's strengths. Also, when mom mentions that Esma has trouble making friends, the teacher knows to refer her to the school counselor. The counselor then helps the family join a local Boys and Girls Club with lots of activities for Esma. The teacher knew to do this because the school counselor led staff trainings on resources available in the community and how to help families access them. There's no danger of a family like Esma's ever feeling like an occasional onlooker. The school knows what families have to offer, and the family knows what's going on in the classroom and how to support it. They feel they are active and regular collaborators and decision makers. The district gives families opportunities to learn how to help children succeed at each level of the school system and to serve on school groups. At school gatherings, Esma's adult stepsister and close next-door neighbor also feel included in the community. Staff at the school are trained to be as inclusive as possible, welcoming as learning partners anyone who cares about the child. Esma's school has moved from parent involvement to family engagement. Not surprisingly, engaged families help students learn better. Staff members like their jobs better. Everyone wins. This is backed up by over 40 years of research. Students with engaged families, no matter their income, background, or culture, are more likely to do well in school, enroll in ambitious courses, graduate, and go on to post-secondary education. They also have stronger social skills and fewer disciplinary issues. So how do we make it happen? First, we work to make the shift across an entire school district. Sure, at the elementary level, Esma's classroom teacher is the main person her family interacts with at school, but as she gets older and her schooling more complex, collaboration is definitely bigger than one person. Really, all along the way, the family's interactions with pretty much everyone in connection with the school, from office staff to after-school staff, from bus drivers to principals, will need to be positive for them to truly feel welcomed. So it's a clear expectation in the district. Every employee has a role in helping every family feel connected to their child's learning, no matter what building or classroom that child attends. In Esma's district, a broad team that included school psychologists, social workers, counselors, families, general and special educators, and after-school program staff helped everyone in the school take family engagement to this next level in a way that works for their community. It worked. Esma's family feels like a valued member of the team. Esma, her family, and her educators feel confident that she's learning and happy at school. We have more information about how schools and families can effectively engage with each other around students' learning on our website.
Okay, thank you so much. So just to share a quick success story, being able to help families meet their natural needs, their basic needs, is something that we pride ourselves in here. And, with the holidays coming up, we have a lot of parents and families that are experiencing economic stress. So just being able to give them meals and provide with them, connecting them with resources so they'll have somewhere to live. Even toiletry products is something that does not look like parent involvement, but when they know that you care, they will show up more. So I hope this helped somewhat. And it's not just what you do, but it really becomes who you are. So we love our jobs here at Orangeburg County School District, and we love our families. And so we just hope that we were able to just share a little of that love that we feel. And we hope you felt that. So thank you for this opportunity, and be blessed.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I can feel how much you care about your students and family and just the community in Orangeburg as a whole. And it has been an absolute delight to hear your perspective today. And I'd like to thank all three panelists, Seth, Dr. Swanson, And Kimberly Ray, thank you all so much for talking to all of us about family engagement and the resources and lessons learned and things that you all have done. And so for everyone here, we'll move into the Q&A. If you have questions, please put them in that little Q&A feature. And if not, I might turn it over to you, Erica.
Thank you, McLean, and thanks again to all of our panelists. And I was getting these warm, fuzzy feelings the whole time I was sitting here listening to y'all, because my oldest is in kindergarten and his first couple of months transitioning to kindergarten was a struggle. I was getting a call from a principal, a teacher, a counselor, like every day, every other day. And it was heavy and it was stressful and it was depressing. And they, in response to that, became this really great team, just like you were talking about, Kimberly, where we had this open communication, where they built this trust. So this very negative experience became very quickly a very positive one. And where we are today compared to where we were this first couple of months is like night and day. And we're actually meeting with the clinical counselor this afternoon, and I couldn't be more excited. And, you know, I have no problem sharing that with y'all, because there's these great resources out there, and I wish more people were taking advantage of them. We're going to focus on my son improving his coping skills. And like, I think Lorelai, you may have mentioned it. At the same time, I know I'm going to also learn from that experience. So just really excited and so thankful that we have y'all serving us at that national and state and local level to help our students become healthy and better learners. So wrapping us up, because we're at time, we're not done. We have more webinar series to come. So we're already in the process of planning for our spring sessions, and you'll see the dates and times. We've added 15 minutes to our sessions because we got that from y'all from our evaluations, that sometimes we need more time to talk. And, you know, sometimes there's lots of questions to discuss. So we're putting a little bit of a cushion with 15 extra minutes in the spring, and you'll see the topics. We'll have our registration for the first one coming out soon by the end of this month. So be on the lookout for that. And then also, as a follow-up, this recording of this session will be made available soon after. So be on the lookout in case any of your colleagues, folks in your community, or if you just want a refresher on what was shared today, be on the lookout for that recording. And any other pertinent resources that were shared today, we'll make sure those get back to y'all as well. So that is it. I just want to thank again our panelists. Thank you, Seth, Dr. Swanson, and Kimberly. We really enjoyed getting to know you through this process. And we thank you for all that you do to support our families and our students. And with that, have a great rest of the day.